All right, so a majority of you already have version 15. So what we're going to cover is what are the differences between 15 and 17. All right, let me see. I got a question here already. So early with the questions. Yes, just got it. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're going to get started right away. First of all, the first thing you'll notice is the look of version of the design error software has changed a bit. Okay, we have a couple new tools here. Okay, now up at the top we have our sub-menu groups right here. Once we have a design and screen, these become available up here. And then you have your file, which we're all used to. In the file, let me show you some things in the file. You do have blank design. You could start a simple wizard, a complete wizard. These two wizards will actually open up some tools for you to add information about the design you're about to create for the customer, where it's located, things of that nature, even categorizing your designs as well. If you have hotfix error, you would have this complete wizard hotfix. We're doing Liberty today, so if you just have an embroidery machine and you're doing digitizing for stitches, you will not have some of these icons, okay? This software that I'm using right now has both hotfix on it as well as Liberty, okay? We could open up a design document. We could open up a graphic file. From here, we can open up a vector file or open up an image, get a CorelDRAW image, or also get an Illustrator image, okay? These are vector files. And we could also open up an embroidery design, okay? So I just clicked on graphic file here, so nothing's changed there. We have the save option. Now, the difference in the save option is it lays it out differently, okay? You can still save the design document, which overwrites the document you have saved already, okay? The save document as will rewrite the file, and you could assign a different name to, okay? So look for the save as a rewrite. Like if you're doing a child version of the adult version you just made, you shrink the design down, change the stitch properties, boom, and you save it as a youth or a child or whatever like that. You can export vector graphics to your cutter. This is where you do it. If I had a vector graphic on screen, this would all not be grayed out. I could send it to a cutter or save it as an EMF file or a DXF file. You could also export bitmap images. This is just going to save the bitmap images, not for anything else but other than marketing your design to a party that you want to email it to, like a preview, okay? You have embroidery. These are export tools for embroidery. You could export the design file, which is your DSG file, okay, files that you can manipulate at a later date. You could send designs to an embroidery machine. And for those that have the advanced machine, you understand what that entails. And export applique of an embroidery design. This is the applique part of the design, okay, that you could export, okay. Information, this tells you about you. You do have some embroidery production timing tools in here, which we will go over at another tech talk. How to use those, how to plug in the numbers, how to find out what your production timing is going to be for the design you just created by stitch count. All right. Embroidery pricing, another metric you could put in there is the price you pay for threads, bobbin, backing, electric, depreciatory values. All that stuff is found in there, so you can accurately price your embroidery. Okay. For those of you who have hotfix as well with the Liberty, you also have the hotfix database pricing price setting. This is where you enter your pricing metrics. And the hotfix pricing, this is where the pricing is crunched and tells you what you should charge or what you need to get. Okay. You could also send designs by email. So if you're working with a client that wants you to do digitizing services, you can actually send that design by email right from the information screen. Okay. Let's see. I have no embroidery on screen, so this is not coming up. Okay. So that's why it's grayed out. You can also share the designs in social networks. Now, the network that it does put it on is Twitter. So if you have a Twitter account or a Twitter homepage for your embroidery business, your designs, new designs, can be sent up right up to the social network. Okay, and you could share it with your clients that way. Let's see. I got a question here from Kerry. Are these tools just for Liberty, or is it for Universal as well? It's a good question. I haven't seen the Universal, to be honest with you. I haven't seen the Universal, so I can't answer that honestly. Okay? But the same company that made Liberty does make it for here. I know that Universal does truncate the amount of use that you have with the software. For instance, you don't get the number of fonts that you would normally get in Liberty. So there are some things that that are cut back because of the cost that for Universal is. Okay, so so without knowing, I'm not really sure if that's the case, Kerry. And I'm sorry I don't know that answer, but we will have. I will talk to Coleman and Company and get a more accurate answer for you, and they'll. I'll see if I can get a hold of you and share that information with you. Your print dialog hasn't changed at all, not one lick. Okay, you still have print formats for embroidery designs. You got hotfix draft printing if you're doing rhinestones, okay, as well. And you can also print the design. This is basically just for job information. You could store in a binder, okay, what your thread changes and all that stuff. In the options, nothing has changed here either from 15 to 17. Preferences setup still displays all your settings, your default settings, and you can tweak them. Nothing has been added here. And when you go through it, nothing should change. In other words, in Create and Edit, you should be on circle arcs, okay? The default is Bezier. The only one thing that has changed is your grid, okay? So let me go into grid. Find it. For some reason, I'm not even seeing it. It's in guidelines. There we go. In your grid, you have a subgrid component now, which most home embroidery softwares will have. So you can actually set your standard grid. Maybe you go with maybe like a solid line, and then you can do like a small dotted line on the subgrid. Just turn it on, and this will get you. So I would do like maybe, like 1 inch on the main grid, and then you could do like a 1/2 inch or whatever you're doing on the subgrid. Okay, that is the only added thing that they put in options. Okay, you do still have the ability to enter shortcuts. Okay, if you want to have a shortcut key to do a certain function, like my favorite one is the pan tool. Okay, the pan tool is a hand tool that allows me to stay zoomed in and use a hand to drag my image to another area so I can continue to work. Okay. It still works the same way I just passed it. There's the pan tool. You click on it, come down here, and you see I already have F1 selected as the shortcut. I like F1 because when I'm done with the hand tool, you got to hit the escape button in order to release the hand tool to go back to creation mode. So it's right next to it. So I usually hit F1. Once you assign the hotkey, you click on the checkbox, and she assigns it. And you see everything's here. It's all broken up in category. You deal with something with file. You want to open up a new file. There's the hotkey, Control+N. You could change that. Edit, view. If you want to go to simulation screen, toggle back and forth from 3D. It's no longer called simulation. It's called 3D. If you want to see 3D, then you could just click on it and assign it. So if I want F2, type in F2. And hit check. Now F2 becomes my shortcut to go back and forth from normal view to 3D. Okay, never have to assign normal. Okay, just touching the F2 button takes you back to normal. Okay, so you have all these categories, and there's plenty of them there. Okay, all right, so we hit the check box one more time, and then we hit yes and close. The account information actually talks to you who you are, when you activate the software, what the computer name was, your license key number, all that stuff. My computer's acting just a little bit slow this morning. So, okay. Hold on, let me just go back. There's options. For some reason, accounts is just taking a little bit to populate. It might be our internet, okay? But, all right, so we're going to go back into here. We'll go back in the account later on. Okay, that's your file tool. The home button opens up ribbons, just like version 15. When you go into artwork, the ribbon changes the things that apply to artwork. For instance, rasterized images are found here. You still have the capture device, which is your scanner. If you have a scanner that you want to use to bring in artwork, hook it up. You no longer have to use scanner software. You can use Stitcher or Liberty to scan your image, crop it, change resolution size. All the things that your scanner software would have done can be done right here. You also have a vector section here where you can open up a vector file, and those formats have not changed, okay? You still have the WMFs, EMFs, CDRs, CMXs, AIs, TXFs, SVGs, and PLTs, okay? You could also grab from an application. For those of you that are using Illustrator or CorelDRAW, you can. I like to save things as an EMF and bring them in, or you can actually have CorelDRAW and Illustrator opened up in the background with the design. Go right into Sierra software and tell it to get the design you've been working on from CorelDRAW or Illustrator, and it'll bring it in. It takes a little bit of time to build it in a code that Sierra understands. So you'll see that progress line going forward. And then you can convert the things to stitches. Got a question here from Rashawn. Rashawn asks, is this upgrade available for free or is there an upgrade fee? You want to contact Coleman & Company for that information. As a technician, I really don't know what the charges are or whatever. So if you call Coleman & Company, they'll be able to answer that question for you. Sorry I don't have that answer for you, Rashawn. Okay, next one we have shapes. They put shapes right in the middle here, and you still have the same basic shapes. Okay, they put a couple more on here. I'm not sure what I would ever do with these, but maybe the hashtag might be a popular one that you're doing for hashtag sayings and stuff like that. But they're right there. The editor opens up, your shapes. Okay, so if you want to do a star, you want a 7-pointed star, just change the points. You can actually rotate the star, you could slant the angles, even curve them, okay, make different shapes out of it. A lot of people have a lot of fun with this. You can even go solid, make a solid shape, or just a basic outline. These are great for motifs, creating motifs, okay. I use them quite a bit when I'm doing decorative stuff on napkins or maybe like a table wrap or something like that. So you can have fun with them. You have polygon, which are your 5-star, and you can change that to an octagon or whatever. And again, you still have the curves and everything. You can make this make a flower real easy. Okay, so you have stars, lines, and of course spirals. I've never used spirals. I feel like people will be bumping into things if they saw a spiral on my shirt. You got an embroidery tab. The embroidery, a couple things have changed here, okay? Number one, the placement of different things. Materials used to be on the right-hand side along with embroidery components and embroidery settings. It's now over on the left here. You still have your path, and you have the path with running stitch, zigzag, E-stitches, and programmable stitches. These other ones here you will not have. I have a full function key because we are trainers here. If you would have bought path with multi-sequin, I got to be able to train you on that. Okay, so I have it here, but you won't have it. So if you see something on my screen that, hey, you don't have on yours, it's not because it should have came with it. It's because we have a fully functioned key from Sierra, so we can provide adequate training to you. Okay. Column stitches, you have the column zigzag, E stitches, column with pattern, and you'll have program stitch. You will not have column with fur or column with fur fill. Okay. Now these are two very interesting things in creating dogs and animals and stuff like that, or if you want to make grandma's feather bed look like it had a split in the material. These are great fill patterns to use. Uniform area, you'll have area with pattern, programmable stitch, applique, cross stitch, radial fill. These other ones you will not have. Okay, these are alternate optional functions that you could purchase and add on to your software if you find need to. Turning area, you will have the area with zigzag, E-stitch, pattern, and programmable stitch. Again, the furs you'll not have. The flexible area fill, this is an alternate fill pattern that groups these specialty fill patterns in. Now you won't have these, okay? These don't come with 17 regularly. These are purchasable options. And you have crate stitches, which is basically your manual stitch creation tools, okay? Your lettering is set up the same way as you're used to. You have digitized fonts and true type fonts. The difference is the fonts that they gave you. You'll see that you'll have a couple more fonts that have been added to the software package. Once it opens up, let's take a look at some of these. Everybody's familiar with the majority of these, commercial script. Okay, let's go up to the top here. Adage, all these things. Let's see, which ones are new? Let's see if I can pick them out. Let me see, Big Trek, let's see, the curls, where's the curls font? They had curls font here. You see, they give you a lot of fonts with it. Okay, and then now we'll start going into the purchasable fonts. Okay, and these are all purchasable. The nice thing about this software is you click on the lock key, it automatically opens up a online shopping cart. So you can actually purchase the font. You don't have to enter password, email. Well, you have to enter your serial number. It should capture that from the software automatically. So all you do is provide credit card information, purchase the font, look in your email in about 10 minutes, and you'll get instructions along with the license file to install. So you can see there's some added fonts that they've added here over the last few years since 15 has been out. This Chelsea Land, it looks pretty cool. These look pretty. Christmas bells, these look all pretty cool. I could find use for those. Okay, it's Christmas time. Strawberry Festival's coming up. There you go, there's strawberries. Okay, they look like acorns, but you can make them into strawberries. But there you go. So you can see there's a lot of fonts on here. The font categories and size specifications are still right here. And there's your shopping cart tool right there. All right, True Type fonts open up the same way as they did before. You click on it, and they're still broken up into categories. You have symbols, scripts, fixed pitch, serifs, sans serifs, decorative, all the ones that you last used, and favorites. Okay. And your bold italicized, this is the height of your font, this is your text field, the character map, all your justification tools, spell check are still the same, kernings are all the same. Everything is same here. You will not have effects, okay? Sad to say this will be there, but it'll be grayed out. I have a full function key, and it gives me the ability to set effects on my text, like, you know, like shadow effects and drop shadows and trap colors, like in this H here. You know, that all comes with the effects pack add-on, okay? Your arrange tools, you still have the same enveloping techniques as you've had in 15. No change there, nothing was added there, okay? The only thing that's really added there was this user line, okay? I haven't seen it before. I haven't really worked it yet. I'm gonna look, I think it just does the same thing as a step text, but in a reversed angle. Double arch used to only come up when you had 2 lines of text in your text field. That's when it became available. Other times it was hidden. So it's shown all the time now. In the View tab, you have your zoom tools. You have your normal 3D, and auxiliary is the graphic. Okay, they just changed the name. Instead of vector and image files, now it's auxiliary. Okay, even screen printing. Okay, and cutter designs and embroidery. You see, you have a bunch of views here now. You do have in the draw mode is your light settings for what the thread looks like in different light settings. You could show rulers, turn off rulers, show scroll bars, which are on the side, which is on the side over here. You have your snap twos, your satellite tool is right here. It used to be on the left. Simulation is there. This is your simulation screen where you can see a picture of the design, and it automatically opens up to a full screen. It no longer opens up to a small. Okay, so let me just turn that off, simulation. And stitch navigation, this will show you the stitch listings in your file. The other thing that was added to this is continuous drawing. What continuous drawing does, it repopulates your image or your design. It's kind of like your matrix repetition tool that was found in version 11 as well as version 15. Just populates it. It doesn't populate it by the area size. Like if you tell it to populate within an area of 12 by 12, no, it negates the background limits. It'll just fill the whole screen. You could zoom out to 1,000%, and you still have repetitions. It just, I don't know why they do it like that, but you can actually delete the ones that you don't want, that kind of thing. And you still have your ruler tool. So as you can see, nothing's really changed. Some things have been added. Okay, the real change starts at below the ribbon bar, okay? All this stuff, create section, select object, smart design, 3D, zoom, all this stuff used to be on the left sidebar. They removed that out so you have more of a bigger design screen to work from. Over on the right-hand side, you still have your object manager. You also have your vector object manager. Let me just undot there we go. Hold on, let me set my screen up. And you have Object Manager, okay? Your document mapping will be right here. It'll show all your stitch packs and your parts of your design, as well as your vector or image files. And then down here are the intricacies of those information. It'll be listed down here so you can change pull compensations, underlays, all those different variables, okay? Works just like it did in 15. although the object inspector has changed a little bit. We're going to see a little bit of those changes when we do a design here real shortly, okay? So, all right, any questions so far? All right, let me just dock my GoToMeeting here, GoToWebinar. All right. On the left sidebar, we do have edit stitches. This is where your edit stitch tool is. Okay, you have your palette, your color palette. You have your background. You have your first needle number 1. Then you have background color and background fabric. Nothing's changed here. Instead of at the bottom here where you had your 3D simulation and your zoom tools and your grid on and off and your guideline on and off, they used to be down here in the bottom left. They are now up underneath the ribbon bar. Okay, so get familiar with where they're at. Okay, the one thing about new software is that they always find better ways of positioning different icons based upon what people have fed back to them. So those things will change from version software to version software. Okay. They're trying to make it easier for you to actually work within your environment. Okay? All right, so let's have some fun. Let's go ahead and go back to the home screen. In the home screen, we haven't talked about because most of the changes have been done in the home screen. Home screen is actually a new screen. You never had it in version 15, nor version 11. You always had just file, artwork, and embroidery and view. Home is a totally different animal. Let me show you what home does, okay? Home will allow you to start a new project by clicking on here. The drop-down list will allow you to choose Simple Wizard, Embroidery Wizard, and for those that have Hotfix, you can use Hotfix Wizard as well. If you remember, these things were found in File, okay? Once we go back to the file, see? We go to Open, there they are too. Also, the recent documents we've been working with listing is right here, okay? But you could do it right from the home screen. You can click on it here. You can open up a file. Catalogs. Catalogs is pretty cool. What Catalog does is allows you to quickly target the folder where your images are, whether they're rasterized, whether they're vectored images, or whether they're even decorative motifs. Let me show you what some of these things are. You'll find this pretty cool. And I rely on catalogs quite a bit. In the media, we have native DSG files. These are DSG files. Okay, you just navigate to it, go to the folder where those files will be held. And let me see if I got any kind of, Sean Gadeas has some files. No, he has no files on there. All right, so we have no DSG files on here yet, okay. But you go to your folder, and then the design files will show up down here. That's native DSG. Your embroidery designs or machine format designs are your DST files. And when you click on that, I'm going to go to the desktop. And there's my DST files. Oh, no. There's my DST files. You got rasterized images. These are raster images. You pick the folder where your clip art images are, your PNGs, your JPEGs, your bitmaps, and then you can actually choose them, and they're still a drag and drop in. Okay, so you just drag and drop it in there. Okay? That's your rasterized image. You have your vectored images. Okay, they've added a few vectored images for you. These are just practice tools. They gave you a city skyline, a kitty cat here. They gave you a dog, a bonefish grill. So you got a couple extra designs there for you to work with when you're practicing. And let's go back into vector. And then you have Motifs Embroidery. All your motifs will be shown in here. You see they give you a lot more. These are actually designs, and they're broken up into categories. Okay, so when you click on the drop down for categories, you have animals and bugs, and under animals and bugs you have others, okay? You have 12 designs that qualify as animals or bugs. Frames and borders, if you click on frames and borders, it shows you those motifs that you're familiar with seeing, okay? We got symbols, okay? These are Irish symbols or Celtic symbols. And then you have your miscellaneous formats here, okay? These are basically just line stitching and a couple other decorative things, a little abstract stuff that you can use. Let me click on motifs, and you also, if you had hotfix, you have hotfix motifs as well, which was never available in version 15. They give you some fonts, some animals and bugs, celebrations, fantasies, food and drinks, games. So if your software actually has hotfix as well as embroidery, you'll have these as well. Okay, So if I go to animals and bugs, you can see you got some outlines of different things there. Celebrations of feelings. Valentine's Day is coming up. There you go. Bunch of designs for you to get running on hats. You got fantasies. There's your emojis, food and drinks, frames and borders. Okay, and of course game pieces. Memory blocks. Not even sure what that is. Okay, memory blocks. We haven't figured that one out. We're still waiting for the software engineer to tell us what that is. And for those of you that have hotfix, you could actually put find your rhinestone designs right from there. Okay, so I work from catalogs quite a bit instead of going to artwork. Now, of course, you can get all those things from artwork. There's your open rasters, open vectors, you have shapes. Okay, so you have manual freehand. Okay, so you have all that. But if you want to open up one of those motifs and work with them, you got to go to the catalogs. Your undo redo hasn't changed its position, nor to cut, copy, and paste. Your repeats, your listed save for memory. This is, I guess I could store designs in memory from here in memory block rooms. Pages is pretty cool. Pages will actually set a page size. Okay, so if I'm doing something like one of the things I do a lot of cutting, and I cut on a Cricut. I also have a graph tag, so Cricut uses a 12 by 12. So if I open up 12 by 12, there's my cut screen, my canvas size. Okay, and you can add different things to it in Pages. Okay, so you go to Page Settings, and you can actually add a new page setting. So if you want to do something for a certain hoop, you can actually do that as well. Okay, a hoop size. Underneath that, we have hoops. Okay, now embroidery hoops, we can click on it. And let's go to machine brand. We have the Avance hoops right here. Just click on the hoops, and there's all your Avance hoops. Your 9mm, your 12mm, 15, 21, your 300, your large super back hoop right here. Okay, so we go open, and there's your large hoop. Okay. For those of you who have other machine types, okay, you do have those machine types here. Let's open this up again. Machine brand. Just go to machine brand here. You got Avance, Baby Lot, Barradin, Barina, Brother, lots of them. Okay. Let me see. Brother, generic, Husqvarna, Janome, Path, Singer, Viking, White. And if you don't see it in here, you can actually add it. Okay, you have a hoop database, okay, where you can actually add it. You can actually add the hoop, name it, choose the shape of the hoop. All right, and then once you do that, you type in the name of the machine brand you have, the model of hoop that you want to add, and you add it to the list. Okay, and that's how you do that. So we got to go to Pages. We go to 12 by 12. What I like about the page size is it actually gives me a clear border of where my embroidery field is, okay? And you can do the same thing to a hoop. Now, when I choose a hoop, like an Avance hoop, like a round hoop, go to embroidery hoop. We'll go to Avance. And say we need this on the left chest. I'd probably choose a 15. And there you go. So you can see right away my design is way too big for that hoop. Okay? Gives you a nice look. Okay. Got a question here from Curry Crowley. Curry asked, with the new Liberty software, does hotfix come with it? No. Hotfix does not come with it. The only way hotfix comes with it, if you decide to buy a combo package, embroidery and spangle or embroidery and rhinestone machine, okay, or embroidery and the graph tech cutter, which you can actually do rhinestones with too, then yeah, you can get on your one dongle key, you will have Liberty and Sierra for stitches as well as hotfix. Okay. If you have a cutter already and you're thinking about upgrading your Liberty, you can option to purchase Liberty with hotfix added to it, so it'll all be on one key. Okay. You never want to get like another key, one for Liberty and one for hotfix, unless you're intending to put it on two separate computers. You can't run two dongle keys in one computer. It just combats each other. Okay, doesn't work very well. Okay, but if you're thinking about upgrading to, a lot of people use WinSign PCS Pro, or they're using Digital Art Solutions, Smart Cut Pro software. and they want to bring those designs into Sierra, okay, well, you would need the hotfix error. All right, you'd want to add it to your already existing dongle key if you have stitch error Liberty already. So just call Coleman & Company, tell them that's what you want to do. The other thing you want to do, if you're thinking about doing that, if you're doing cut, like a cutter-based rhinestone system, you probably have a lot of files that are, PLT files or HPGL files where you've been cutting circles out of flock material. One thing you do want to have is you want to add the PLT function to bring those files that you created, those other softwares, into Sierra and send off to a multitude of different machines, okay? All right, I hope that answers your question, Carrie. All right. Converting designs in Stitch Error Liberty has not changed at all. This is a JPEG image, okay? Has a white background, it's ungroupable. If we'd still have color reduction, that'll be found in the artwork. Hold on. And it'll be found in layout, okay? You have color reduction where we can reduce the amount of colors that the software sees. Any kind of JPEGs or bitmaps or images, they're going to be lower resolution. They're going to be pixelated images, okay? They're going to have a lot of different tones of color. For instance, all your eyes are depicting is orange and white. However, if we tell it to see up to 32 colors here, it's going to look into that design and look at all the shades that it's picking up. Even on the orange, it's picking up maybe 5 or 6 different shades of that. So you can still reduce the colors, okay? And we're filtering it. It's processing right now. And there's my 2 colors, okay? So you reduce the colors the same way. Converting to vector, there's no tool you see up here. It's called Convert to Vector. That's actually a right-click option now. When you right-click, you do have the, let me deselect, reselect. There it is right there. Okay, Convert to Vector. Convert to vectoring tools, same thing. Nothing's changed. Just vectorize. And it'll as soon as it processes, you'll see the return button turn green. And there's the vector. There we go. So now I have a complete vectored file and it's totally ungrouped. Okay. What I meant to mention is dividing colors in half used to be up here. It used to be a split vector tool. You don't see it anymore. It's now a right-click option. Split object is right there. So I can actually take and split this up into sections. And now I have a 2-color object. Oop. Okay. All right. All right. Now, grouping objects, where we have objects touching one another, and we want to weld them. If you remember, the tool for that was combine vectors. Okay, when we have objects that are touching each other, we want to group them together, or flatten the image. It's a right-click as well. Your combined vectors is here. So by addition, we weld it together. Okay. Simplifying, if you remember, cuts out the underlapped area. So everything lays right on top of each other. Okay? That's some of the changes that you see. Let's see, what else we got here? Converting this to stitches, it's smart. Use Smart Design, okay? Holding your control button allows you to still multi-select many objects. Your Smart Design, instead of being on the sidebar over here, is now up on the top here, like I mentioned. When you open it up, your uniform areas will come up here, your turning areas, well, this won't come up because you won't have this, okay? And we will go through these. So, I mean, in coming tech talks, we're going to go through some of these optional fills so you have a better understanding whether it's something you like to incorporate into your embroidery platform or not. Some of these have a great advantage over common embroidery softwares, okay, that you'll find it very nice to add to your market. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to convert this to a uniform fill. And there it is. Now what you're seeing is stitch marks. So I'm going to turn off stitch marks. There we go. And then we'll turn on the 3D simulation. And there you go. So nothing's really changed. You add borders the same way as you did in the other one. The border tool comes up as soon as the stitches are selected. You still have the density controls. You have the defaults. You have the different fill patterns right from the menu bar. Okay. Nothing's really been added to it. There's maybe a couple changes, like this one here was never there. There are some added ones here. I'm seeing now for the first time. This one here's a new one. This PTG0018. This one here is a new one. The other one, this one here's new. This is nice. Manual patterns. So it looks like they've upped their manual patterns. Yeah, they all look the same. I see nothing really changed there. And combined patterns, these are your motif patterns that have a fill stitch. I see nothing there. Do I see? I'm looking for hearts. So I was hoping they'd come out with a heart for Valentine's Day, and it don't look like they did one yet. So, all right. So, nope. But you can see, but there's some added ones there I can see right away. Okay. Let me just, hold on. I got too many things covering tools here. All right, so there we go. Sorry. Okay, adding border the same way. Just click on border. There's your border on, and there's your border on right there. You could change the color, change the density, change the width of the column. Does it nice and cleanly, okay? Looks pretty good. Okay, any questions so far? Any at all? Well, that's it. I mean, that is the full upgrade, the difference between version 17 and 15, what to be in store for. Like I said, just to rehash, just to recap a little bit, the biggest change is actually in the home. Okay, home adds catalog and page sizes and hoops. Okay, you could also print right from here. Your print tool, you don't have to go to File and Print. You could do it right from here. You can share over media. Okay, this is actually share designs by email or share designs on through Twitter. You could save right from here. A lot of tools in home. Okay, it's really nice to have that now. I no longer have to go to File. Okay, the only thing I do have to do, I'm not even sure if it's on export either. See, I could save file here. I can't export. Export, I still have to go to File. Okay. The other difference is the different fonts that you'll find in embroidery. The other big difference is where they put this left sidebar information. It's all right up here underneath the ribbon. Okay, so get familiar with that. Okay, and your quick tools for simulation, zoom, and pan tool, and grid on and off, and guideline on and off, instead of being down here in the bottom left, is now up here underneath the ribbon. In your auxiliary tool, you see you can hide auxiliaries. You can turn off embroidery. Turn it back on. It does have different groupings. Hide all but auxiliary objects. So now you're hiding the stitches, that kind of thing. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something in this Tech Talk. We appreciate you joining us every week, and next week we'll be doing the introduction to version 17 for a hotfix, and then the week after that we'll be doing this again for stitch error, and then next in February we'll start diving into using version 17 and having some fun with it, kicking the tires, so to speak. Okay. So we appreciate you. Look for your email tomorrow. That'll have the link for the video that we just recorded for this Tech Talk. You guys have a great weekend, and see you next week.